Welcome back to Wings Over Canada.
Whiskey Hotel X-ray, Roger, taxi Delta, Apex 3 advised on complete. The wind 0102, altimeter 3013.
3013 and taxi Delta, run up original base.
This week I fly north from Kelowna, BC to a remarkable location just outside of Revelstoke called Three Valley Gap. Flying out of Kelowna, it's all about bridges today. The long overdue and highly anticipated new bridge that connects downtown Kelowna to the west side contrasted with the recently reopened Kettle Valley Trestles. The iconic trestles were built in 1910 along the Kettle Valley Railway line. Many of these historic trestles were damaged in the Okanagan Mountain Park fire of 2003.
Maple Lake traffic, this is Cessna 175, Foxtrot Whiskey Hotel X-ray. Just at the south tip of the lake, we're going to be doing some low-level flying over the lake and popping in for a quick stop.
Maple Lake has an air park. For those unaware, an air park is a community where airplanes are part of the neighborhood, and one can taxi their plane from the runway to their driveway. I think Maple Lake is wonderful, and given the freedom we have to stop when we want, go where we want, well, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So this is Maple Lake. This is the strip, obviously. It's just gorgeous grass. You could almost play golf on this stuff. There's lots all the way around on either side and hangars, and it's just pristine. Gorgeous lake down below. Even if you didn't fly, who wouldn't want to be here? We're right here at Maple Lake, and right up this valley where it meets the #1 highway is Three Valley Gap. Let's go.
This airplane we're flying is a 1956 Cessna 175. We've all heard of the 172, probably a lot of us know about the 180, 182, 185. Well, this is why they call this particular one Mr. In-Between. Not quite a 172, it's not quite a bigger aircraft. Originally it came with a geared engine, a GO 300 Continental. That particular engine had a lot of issues, needed a lot of TLC. Most of them have been converted to a different engine, and this one's no exception. This has 180 horsepower Lycoming and a constant speed propeller. It's got a STOL kit on it, lots of long-range tanks on it, and it's a great climb machine. The only thing it doesn't do particularly well is it doesn't have a great useful load. So we're limited to 2 or 3 people, or 2 people and a lot of baggage like we got here on Wings Over Canada. But it's been great for getting up, climbing up over these mountains and working through this area. We're coming up right now to a place that I personally have flown by many times. I've always wondered what's going on in there. And that's a little resort attraction called Three Valley Gap. We're incredibly blessed today because those 3 valleys meet, and usually it's a bit of a wind tunnel. Today it was nice and smooth, so we were able to comfortably get down low and get some good aerial shots of it, and it's just a beautiful day. So we're popping around the corner here to Revelstoke, where we're going to land, and we'll meet up with the people who run Three Valley Gap. And Revelstoke Whiskey Hotel X-ray is on a right downwind for full stop 12, Revelstoke traffic. And Revelstoke Whiskey Hotel X-ray is right base for a full stop runway 12, Revelstoke traffic.
Three Valley Gap is a family-built, owned, and operated roadside attraction 20 minutes west of Revelstoke on the number 1 highway. They've got a ghost town, an antique car museum, North America's largest covered roundhouse, its very own fire station, a heli-tour operation, a variety of recreational activities, and a 200-room chateau. I want to know what you first thought. The very first time that you saw what's now Three Valley Gap, that piece of property, what did you think when you first saw it?
It was all swamp. There was a cabin on the point, and you had to walk on planks to get over to the cabin because it was swampy.
Did anybody during that time pull you aside and say, Ethel, you guys are crazy. What are you doing?
Yes, in Revelstoke, the people there thought we were nuts. They didn't know what we were building here. There were no motels in the area at that time, so we started at a motel and grew up into a hotel.
I remember when we lived in Regina, and Dad would drive us here for the weekends. We'd get in the car after school on Friday night, and Dad would work all weekend, and he would get us there in time to go to school, just drop us right off at school Monday mornings.
You'd pack up the whole family, throw them in a station wagon, something like that, big vehicle?
Yes, we had a large vehicle.
And then bring them all out, get a weekend's worth of work building what would become Three Valley Gap, and then go back again. How long did you do that commute?
About 3 years. 3 summers, I guess it was.
Okay, now let's really look at this for just a second. You're living in Regina. It's the 1950s. You got drum brakes all the way around, bias-ply tires, and you're driving on gravel 14 to 15 hours each way, 2,800 kilometers round trip every weekend? It's just incredible what he's created here. And literally, where we're standing was basically swamp.
Yeah, it all was.
So it's kind of the epitome of the pioneer spirit.
Yes.
To create all of this from
Well,
nothing.
to look at a swamp and think, okay, I can do something with that.
People must have thought he was crazy.
Oh, yes, and the bankers did.
We wrote all the financial institutions in Canada, actually. And finally, one in Edmonton loaned us some money. The interest was probably twice as much as what anybody paid. We were paying 12% in those days, and other people were paying 4 to 6%. Yeah, things got rough. We just look at it in a different direction and figure it out. First year we opened was 1960.
I think it was always kind of a surprise how big he wanted to build things, and he researched all over Canada and the States. Anytime we walked into a motel room, Dad took out his measuring tape, measured the motel room to see if it was bigger, smaller than ours, and what size our next one should be.
More on Three Valley Gap right after the break.
DVD copies of the Wings Over Canada series are available, singly or in box sets at wingsovercanada.ca or at 1-866-909-4647.